Okay, welcome one and all to today's masterclass here in September. We are super excited about this masterclass, and one of the main reasons why I am the most excited is because I have one of our mentors here at Speakers Institute that has really helped us launch this organization, and also at the moment we're working very, very closely with them as well. You know, I've constantly have said that I'm going to bring in people that are going to be the best at what they do. Pose that through to you guys. But look, before I do start with really introducing Alexi, I really wanted to, first of all, really reiterate the importance of today's masterclass. And one of the main reasons is that we continually say, when you are faithful with the small, the big will come. We always say this all the time, but guys, it is so true. And I get it. Sometimes we do feel underpaid, undervalued, under-recognized, and in all reality, the more though that we are faithful with the little things, such as regularly doing research or writing blogs or doing video blogs or doing live videos or, you know, upgrading your LinkedIn or your social media, or even looking for ways how you can start your own first blog site or whatever it is. If you are faithful with the small and your content is of really great value, people will share that. And ultimately, if then people share that, then more and more people are listening to what you have to say. If people are listening to what you have to say, then it's a total no-brainer. You will get booked. I'll give you an example. Guys, I'm just going to mute everyone. I can hear stuff here.
Okay, yeah. Sam's, whoa, I think I've got the floor. Where's Sam gone?
I think we've got the floor.
Yes, he muted himself.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Well,
Where's Sam?
Sam stepped out.
Oh, he's back. Dude,
He's
you're
back.
on mute.
He's
You're on
back
mute,
and
buddy.
muted.
I can't get him, but I'm got
Okay, I'm back. I'm
unstable.
so
Yay.
Yeah, hi, Sam.
Welcome back.
As soon as I said to mute everyone, it just suddenly crashed. So I do apologize. Anyway, where did I leave off? So we're talking about being faithful with the small when it does come to always producing fresh new content, which is obviously what today's masterclass is all about. We want to make sure that when you are faithful with the small, the big will come, such as highly paid. I'll give you a great example. On Friday last week, I had a client that flew me business class to Adelaide to go and speak in front of 2,500 people at the Adelaide Convention Centre for the Department of Health. We actually do have a couple of people on this masterclass right now that are actually from Adelaide, and they were even at that event. Charlene, you're one. Hello, Charlene. But so I want to tell you something. How did I get that gig? This is how I got it. I did a blog, which is just simply on samcawthorne.com. Someone then shared that blog, and then from someone that shared that blog, someone on the health magazine, I think it's called HCF Health Magazine, they gave me a call and they said, "We really like your blog. Can we please do a feature story in our new magazine?" And I said, yeah, look, that's fine, no problems at all. So anyway, they did a photo shoot with me. They got me to write this blog. And again, this was all from one blog I did on samcawthorne.com, and I shared it and someone read it, and then they then shared this. All of a sudden now I'm on front cover of HCF magazine with something like a 5-page spread of some of my articles, blogs, et cetera, et cetera. So people then read that. Now, the Department of Health there in South Australia, they read that, and then they contacted us and they said, "Wow, we really like this blog, this content that you wrote here. Can you please come and speak at our conference later on the year in September?" And we looked at the diary and we actually had to change around a few things. So we gave them a little bit extra price. Like, you know, again, my price isn't cheap. And they said, "Yep, no problem at all. We'll fly you there, et cetera, et cetera." And I then said, "Okay, look, I would also like to sell books there." And they said, "Yep, that's fine, no problems at all." And then I then got this highly paid speaking engagement. So the moral of this story is, when you are faithful with the small, when you're producing outstanding content regularly and just posting it on social media, online, on a free blog site, whatever that might be, you then share it. Someone in your following might then like it and then share it. Someone in their following then might like it and share it, and then it's clearly is a snowball effect. And then suddenly now you're front of mind. And, you know, and I constantly also say this as well, is that even if you write it once, and you might spend 2 days on writing some content, but if you write it once and then suddenly then you only see 3 people have read it, and it could be your brother, your sister, and your mum. But in all reality, that if you are continue to be faithful, write another blog, do another video, post that video, do another blog, post that, etc. Slowly and surely, you're going to get more than 3 people read it, watch it. You'll start getting 5, 10, 15, and then the rest is history. Tony Robbins started with 1 follower. We started with 1 follower. So when we're faithful with the little small, these big will certainly come, and it can be quite commercial from the commercial side of things, because you don't get to see the return on investment when you're releasing a blog. So there's a few things here then I want to cover at the start of this webinar before I hand it across through to one of my mentors when it does come to writing blogs, and I'm super excited to introduce you to him as well. So first of all, I'm just going to share my screen here. Today's masterclass. Here we go. All right. So today's masterclass, this is what we'll be sharing with you today. How to extract, create, and write valuable content so people share it and you get heard. So these are the 3 things that we'll be covering in today's masterclass. The first thing is this: how to extract and create. You know, sometimes we get in a real stuck mindset, but how can we actually be producing outstanding content? The second thing we're going to be talking about here is 5 ways to maximize every piece of this particular content. So you create a movement, or you get viral and you get the right people to see it. And then all the way through to make the blueprint that the expert used to make your offer irresistible to even influence the smartest skeptic. So this is what we'll be talking about today. So I'm going to give you a couple of elements around this, and then I'm going to then hand it across through to Alexia, who will then do more. So the first one is this: how to extract and create. Now, again, my encouragement always in these masterclasses is write things down wherever you can, because the more that we write it down, the more that we actually catch it, and then we can start implementing it. And that way we can keep you accountable in the Protege Accountability Forum. So the first one is this. Oh, wait there. Here, how to extract and create. Now, as you can see, you've got these 5 colored sticky notepads behind me here. So the first one here I am using is a blue sticky notepad, and I'm going to tell you exactly what this is in a moment. The next one there is a yellow sticky notepad, yellow, yay. Next one there is a reddish sticky notepad. Next one there is a blue-ish sticky notepad, and then the last one there is a purple sticky notepad. Now, we used to, as part of the Protege program, run a 3-day content creation bootcamp. And basically what that it was about how to create outstanding content. So we first of all trialed a couple of different methods, such as the Pomodoro effect, which is the 20 minutes and then 5 minutes off, then a 20 minutes intensive, then 5 minutes off, 20 minutes intensive, et cetera, et cetera. But we found this particular method to work really well. So if you look at these 5 colors here, now imagine each one of these 5 colors is each element of the authority communication framework. So we got idea, blue, evidence, yellow, metaphor, blue, problem, yellow, idea, red, evidence, blue, metaphor, and then the last one, purple, which is the call to action. So imagine that each one of these sticky notepads is one element of the authority communication framework. So this is then what I would do. I would get the blue, and then I'd create every single major problem that I've ever noticed, all within my area of expertise. So let's say hypothetically, if I'm writing bounce forward, Clearly, it's about resilience, overcoming adversity, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just going to, on every single individual note, every single thing here, I'm just going to write one problem. So it could be a bad relationship, could be finances, could be kids, could be parenting, could be this, could be work-life balance, could be this, et cetera, et cetera. So every single major problem that I can ever see all around the area of resilience. So alternatively, let's say I'm writing some content for story showing or, story, then I'm going to write all the individual problems all around story. So it could be, it doesn't land, they get bored, it's not emotional, this. My story is boring. I don't know. So every single problem, all within my area of expertise, all on the blue, yeah? And then the next one here, I'm going to grab my yellow. And in my yellow here, I'm going to have every single individual idea that I've ever come up with when it does come to resilience, overcoming adversity. So it could be, adversarial growth. It could be mindset. It could be physiology. It could be routine. Could be this, could be that. Every single individual idea, all specifically around idea and or, story or whatever it is, yeah? And now, then the red one here, I'm just going to miss this one out. And there's a few reasons here because I love outsourcing research. I'm not a huge researcher and also it takes a lot of time. So I'm going to outsource a lot of my research. So I'm just going to leave my red one just simply for now, yeah? And then the next one there is the turquoise or the bluish, another bluish one there, which is obviously story. Now, on this one here, I'm going to put every single one of my individual stories, every story from when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. I've got stories from when Dad drove over my leg on a tractor. I've got stories when I used to milk the cows with my hands. I've got all these individual stories from my childhood and then stories at school. When I kissed my first girlfriend, when I rode my bike and I fell over, when I had a fist fight with a mate, and so on and so forth. So every single individual story, yeah? And then with the call to action there, don't worry at all about the call to action. So at this stage, we've got 3 of these sticky notes pads now full, where I've just done a total and utter dump, yeah? And guys, I do see that we do have some questions there, and I will come to the questions as we do go along. So it's okay. I do see that the questions are coming along. But again, so at this stage, we've got a few people here saying you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? Just put your thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, most people can hear me, so it might actually be from your side, yeah? All right, so now we've got 3 items. So we've got problem, idea, and metaphor. So now we've got bucket loads of problems, bucket loads of ideas, bucket loads of metaphors. Now, another good part around metaphor is it can also be case studies. So it can be something like when I worked with this one client, or when I did this with this one person, or when I then helped this organization, or when I was working there, this is the problem that I solved, or whatever it is. Yeah. So your metaphor isn't just simply your own personal story. It can actually be case study or stories that are going to be relevant, to the listener. Now, this is how I create content. This is really cool. So I get one problem. Of all the sticky notepads, I'll bring one problem. Then I find one idea that's going to address that problem. And then I find a story that can be relevant to that idea. Are you with me? So I get one of the problems. So again, you've got a whole heap of sticky notepads and a whole heap of problems, yeah? You get one problem, one idea, one metaphor, and you marry it together. There you have one piece of content, yeah? And then the next piece, then you get another idea, another problem, another idea, and then another story. There's another piece of content, and so on and so forth. And if we do that right, now all of a sudden, you might now see 10, 15, 20 pieces of content. And it is the most powerful way in order for you to extract and create new pieces of content. And so this is pretty much so how I've written the majority of my books. How I've written my books is that I just do a massive dump of all the problems, massive dump of all my ideas, massive dump of all my metaphors, marry one of each together. There's one piece of content, then I outsource the research for that. And then the rest is history. So guys, I'm really hoping that that has really helped you. Now, I'm very quickly, I'm here on chat. Does anyone specifically have some questions on that before I just move into my last point here before I hand it across through to Alexi? Any questions at all on that? Love the post-it theory. And trust me when I say it is brilliant. Just go to Officeworks and buy 5 of the colors, yeah? All right. Cool. All right. So the next thing is, that was really cool. Thanks, guys. Very cool. Fantastic. Great idea. Awesome. Great. All right. So then the last thing here I wanted to mention is 5 ways. Wait there. I'm just going to get rid of this. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting rid of some stuff here. Great. All right. 5 ways to maximize every single piece of content. Now, Alexi will be uncovering this more, but I just simply wanted to help you with this, right? So the very first thing that has really helped us to maximize content is to make sure that the title is right. For me, it's all about the title. Now, as we know, the titles of things that has a how-to in front of it is a really effective title. Another title that's really effective is a disruptive idea, such as disrupt a common phrase or something that's common, disrupt that. So, just put something that is a bit of an oxymoron, yeah? Or another great title is have a standout word, like if you look at the #1 TED Talk on the planet, standout word is schools kill creativity. You guys know that little book that I have in the office, which is How to Traumatize Your Children. 7 proven methods to help screw up your kids deliberately and with skill. Yeah. Another, standout title, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And so it'll give you an idea of the importance of having a real standout title for every single blog in order for people to think, wow, that looks interesting. I'm now going to click on that. However, then you need to think of what exactly is the first sentence that you use. And I've found a real wow quote has worked really, really well in the very first sentence that you use in a blog. A real wow quote right at the start. Yeah, so the first one there is title. Next one is this, visuals. So as you know, we are more visual beings, and particularly when it does come to content, you want to make sure that you're incorporating showing part of the content, not just simply telling the content through words, meaning I want to see either a video or images with words on them. Many of you guys know that I use an app which is called Word Swag. And I use Word Swag nearly every single day. And a lot of the images that you do see on our social media, I've done those personally with Word Swag. So check that one out. It's a really, really, really cool app. So when it does come to creating content, particularly something that's shared or when you want them to click on it, visuals will always work better. And in all reality, the ultimate visual is a video. If you can produce better video content, then that will trump any level of written content, in my opinion. So visuals is always going to work 10 times better. Yeah. Next, and I have seen questions up there, and we will answer questions as we go along. Number 3, use all platforms. So when it does come to, now I've written the content, I want to now use every single platform when I share that content. So I'm going to, a lot of the blogs now that have been written for us, we share those blogs on 5 or 6 different platforms plus. So we share it on my personal website, on our Speakers Institute website, on our storyshowing.com.au blog site. Plus also we use Quora blog site, Medium blog site, SlideShare blog site. We then use all the major social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So all of a sudden now you got that one piece of content we're posting that on 7 or 8 different type of platforms, which is really powerful. Now, I've not only just posted it once, I'm going to post it 3 or 4 times throughout that week, particularly in social media. So maximize your content by posting exactly the same piece of content in every single element as you can. Yeah. 4th one is this, hashtags. Now, Most people do understand the macro concept of hashtags. However, I absolutely love the power of hashtags. And the more that you learn which hashtags work really well for which platforms, will help you to maximize the exposure of your content. And so I've actually now got my Filipino team to do some research, which hashtags are the most common in that piece of content, and then hashtag those specific hashtags on that particular piece of content to make it more clickable and also for people to find it as well. And that's a beautiful way of organic growth. Organic growth is always going to trump any level of paid growth from an authenticity point of view, but hashtags are always going to be 10 times better, yeah? And then the fifth one here is, as I was saying earlier on, is repost and share. So each piece of content, we're producing close to 5 to 6 images for each individual piece of content. So then when we post that content on any of our social media, we might post that content within that week 5 times with 5 different pieces of visuals, images. And so then that means then that it's that people are seeing different images, different reasons why to click on that same piece of content, and so on and so forth, which is obviously really, really powerful. All right. So guys, I know I went very fast through that, and I also know that I'm very dark here, but I'll turn on some light here so you guys can obviously see me. All right, so I'm now going to have a look here at chat before I introduce to you our guest speaker here today. But just very quickly, I'm looking at here, good idea using different hashtags at different platforms. Yeah, however, Ian, just on that, make sure though that you do your research on each platform and find out which hashtags work better on which platforms, because you don't necessarily do exactly the same hashtags on every platform, yeah? Oh, Charlene, we haven't finished. We haven't even started on the blueprint yet. And basically, the blueprint, this is why I brought in Alexi. He is the expert of all experts. So, and you know, and again, the masterclass is going to go all the way through to 6:30 anyway. Okay, Harley's saying she has to miss it. However, everything obviously is all video recorded as well. All right, so that's all. So I am about to now introduce you to a big, in a way, he's a mentor of mine when it does come to content. Now, one of the main reasons why I really enjoy working with Alexi, and we've worked on and off with him for the past 5 years. And basically, Alexi was absolute pivotal in launching Speakers Institute 5 years ago. He created our very first landing page when it came to people coming along through to our event from a copywriter point of view. So he has many, many years of experience in copywriting, and then he moved into content creation, and now he runs a super successful business when it comes to helping thought leaders and experts and entrepreneurs to create outstanding content so their business can go viral online. And this guy here, he works with some of the biggest names when it does come to thought leadership, when it does come to experts, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm really excited about working with him at the moment. And just to be really transparent, and I don't know, Alexi, if I'm allowed to say this, but give me grace if I'm not. But we as an organization have engaged Alexi to create a lot of content for us. So you guys might have seen Speakers Institute create quite a bit of content over the last 3-4 months. And a lot of this content now we're sharing on every single one of our platforms. Alexi, just to let you know that our social impact, my team have just told me that we're growing at the moment on average anywhere between 8 to 10% every single month in, month out, all from this content that we're creating. And an organization of our size, particularly when it does to come to our reach, for us to grow every month at 8 to 10% from a reach point of view is just extraordinary, because, you know, we reach in the millions every single month. And for us to continue to grow that reach is just extraordinary. So I'm loving some of the content. If you guys are interested in some of the content that is being created by Alexi and his team, if you go into storyshowing.com.au, you'll be able to see bucket loads of their content that they are creating for us, which we are super proud of. And this content, guys, isn't just fluffy content. This content here is better than what I can write. So one thing that you guys know a lot about what I do, I love outsourcing, and that's why I can continue to scale our organization. But as long as I'm outsourcing to the right people that fit my DNA, that fit my value system, that can give epic value to the marketplace, then I can scale this organization and constantly give epic value to my clients and my potential customers' clients in the future as well. So, Alexi, I know that was a very long intro and I did go a little bit over time, but Alexi, I'm now going to hand it across through to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alexi Neoclose. Yay! Yay! Go, go, go. Right.
You funny man. Thank you very much. So you're passing controls to me? So I've got to do something with the record button, apparently. So
I am just, here we go. We are making you host right now. There you go. I think you're host.
And I see the recording icon taking place. So I think we should be happy. All right. Awesomeness. Great stuff. Thank you for the intro. Yes, it's totally okay to say that my team produce a lot of your content. Happy to say that for sure. So can you guys see my screen? You can't, can you? You're seeing me. Okay, cool. Let me do a share screen and we'll jump straight into it. All right. Can you see my screen now? Should be able to. Where is chat? Yeah, I think you can. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you can.
All right, let's jump into it. So, so Sam mentioned some steps before on how to create content, and that is a good process. There are definite commonalities to what Sam outlined before and how we produce content month in, month out for our clients. And we work in dozens of different industries. So we have frameworks for everything so that we're able to produce really high quality content across industries. And we'll speak about this in a bit, but the case study format is one of the most powerful. But for today, the theme of my talk today is going to be focused in on how to bring in $1 million per month in sales from a single piece of content. Now, that's a pretty crazy claim, but it is a case study, and we'll jump into it. So what most people or many people don't know is for a number of years, I lived overseas and we had a supplement company, and a good $1 million a month in sales for about 2 years was directly attributed to this article that you see here. Okay, so you'll see this article more and more throughout this talk. It's the centerpiece, I guess, of this talk this evening. What I'm going to do is reverse engineer for you the common steps that we implemented, or the steps we implemented for this article and why it was so successful. Here is another piece that we did for a client last year. And this one here was so successful that the client actually had to turn it off during Christmas. It generated that many leads that there wasn't enough people on deck. And this company, if you don't know who they are, Westpac invested about $30 million into them. So they've got some money to really amplify the content. So not surprisingly, going back a step, these two articles have common threads. And being the slow person that I am, I thought to myself, it'd be nice to actually reverse engineer what made this piece so successful, what made the piece before so successful, and what has made many extra pieces, articles, videos, and so forth extraordinarily successful. And after I started looking at the common elements, I found there were, the DNA of the successful items were the same. And so what we're going to talk about this evening is the DNA of content that could generate upwards of $1 million a month in sales. Now, how the heck to do that? Most people don't know, but tonight, what I'm going to show you are the actual steps that we use to generate these outcomes. Now, quickly, I'll just give you my quick background. Sam did a much better job than what I could ever do for myself. Near on 20 years, I've been a direct response copywriter and marketer. For myself and clients, we've generated literally hundreds of millions in newfound sales. When I was a direct response copywriter working one-on-one, we used to charge upwards of $100,000 plus for projects. And I was the CMO of this supplement company you see just there that we grew very, very fast. We scaled extremely quickly. That led to its own problems. Sounds sexy, but it's not. But done a lot of pretty cool stuff. And so in terms of content, I've produced any imaginable form of content you can possibly think of, digital and old school traditional as well. Okay. So let's jump into it. I'm going to show you our process, how we do this month in, month out. So just like a recipe, we're going to assemble the individual ingredients. We're going to pull them together. Okay. First, most important item we need to cover, and that is your audience. It would be an impossibility on my part to overstate how important it is for you to know your audience. You cannot go too deep. Not possible, okay? If you have a great message, meaning that grammatically it's spot on, and you talk about a great story and you talk about a problem and so forth, but if it's the wrong problem for your audience, it doesn't matter how well written the article is or how engaging or cinematic the video is, makes no difference. If you are not on the mark in terms of what your audience wants, then your content will fail. So let's talk about specifically the audience. What are we focusing in on? You need to know your audience better than they do, truly. You need to be able to articulate their worries and their questions and their issues and their desires and their priorities better than they do. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I literally mean you need to understand them better than they do. You need to have a better insight into their world better than they're able to articulate. When you're able to do that, you know your market well enough. When you can articulate their worries better than them, when you can articulate their questions better than them, then you have got a good handle on your audience. And until then, you do not. Okay. How do we go about doing this though? Okay. There are many, many, many ways. So what you see here is a screenshot from our content portal. I'm going to show you a variety of different ways. Some will be paid ways, some will be free ways. So what you see here is associated questions that people have when they type in the keyword search term, build muscle, okay? Now, this is extracted from our content portal, but this information comes directly from Google, okay? Google is getting better every year. It is getting wonderful with reflecting back what people are really thinking about, what people are really worried about. And some of the stuff is surprising. Like, for example, for the keyword search term build muscle, who would have thought some of these questions? Here's a couple of goodies. How did cavemen build muscle? That's a curious one. That's a fascinating one. How did Spartans build muscle? How did gladiators build muscle? Those three have the initial basis of potentially an interesting piece of content because they've got a great deal of novelty and curiosity. And again, I would never have particularly cottoned on those particular ideas. And honestly, they just came out of Google. Okay, so Google is the one way. And if you don't have access to our portal, which you don't, it's really easy. When you type in a keyword search term into Google, sometimes there are people also ask pop up just below the search term, or you can scroll down the bottom. And for most keywords, you're going to get the suggested search terms related to the core keyword at the top. Okay. So there's one way to start to buckle down what your audience is asking. Here are two other ways. We don't always use this particular method. It is powerful. So we either go to Udemy or Amazon.com and we go to the tables of content of subject matters or areas that we're writing about. So as an example, if we were to do a whole series of articles on photography, this is a screenshot of the course outline from a course on Udemy. And instantly you can see that there's some interesting stuff here. Now, what's really, really cool with this tip is if you're looking for courses in Udemy that have thousands of reviews and lots of positive reviews. You're looking for the most reviewed and the highest reviewed. And that's because that is an awesome feedback loop to identify that this particular course is giving what the audience wants. And straight away you can see these are ideas for content, okay? The same methodology, go back one, sorry. The same methodology applies to Amazon.com. So if I wanted to cross-reference what we see here on the screen with some books from Amazon.com about photography, again, the same methodology. I would look for the most highly reviewed best-selling books, go to the table of contents, and then see what those table of contents and outline. Now, very, very quickly, I can see what people are keen on, what they're interested to know about as it relates to photography. Another wonderful tool to identify the worries and the issues and the concerns that your audience have is a tool called BuzzSumo. This is a paid tool. This back here with Udemy and Amazon.com, that's obviously free. Let me show you. I'm not sure if who knows about BuzzSumo here or not. I'm going to assume that nobody knows about BuzzSumo. Really powerful. For like $100 a month, it can give you a lot of great content. So you'll see here for the keyword search term coffee, in the last year from this screenshot, it's showing us the top 3 most viral content pieces in the world for the keyword search term coffee. And you're going to see, like there's 2 here that probably are not very workable from a content perspective. But this third one here had 380,000 shares. 380,000 shares. Now, it was CNN.com, so they got quite a strong platform. But this is interesting. This, if I'm producing content on coffee and it makes sense to talk about the health studies, I would be paying attention to that. And that's a little bit dated when I took this screenshot, but the methodology applies. You're looking for the most viral content on a particular subject so you have an extra data point to work off. You wouldn't just look at this exclusively. You wouldn't just look at Udemy exclusively or Amazon.com or Google. You're looking to overlay your research. And that's where this Venn diagram comes into. You're looking for that white hot center. And that is how you start to create the basis of your content plan, by first identifying the white hot center of your audience's problems, desires, wishes, issues, questions, and so forth. So if we go back to this article, now a bit of context. When this article ran, this claim in the headline, rare undersea discovery could extend your life by 10, 20, or 30 years, nobody else was talking about this. We had discovered a desire that was untapped. That's the key to this. This is now old news, but when this ran, this was a dormant, hidden desire, or at least an unexploited desire. That's part of why this worked so well. This next piece, again, same deal. This here, how we came up with this headline idea is I had a meeting with the crew, with the Uno crew at this company. And I said, guys, let me ask you, what do you keep hearing on phones? What are people asking over chat? What are they emailing in? And far and away, they wanted to know this. This was it. And so this is another point of data that you can use. And this one's the best one. I've saved this one for now. What is it that you hear your audience ask you about? What are the regular conversations that you have with your audience that they keep raising, they keep mentioning? You're looking for the obvious stuff. So when I asked the crew, what is it your audience keeps asking about? They didn't have to check files. They didn't have to go do research, run a report. they look for the obvious stuff. That's where the gold is. And that's what you're looking for when you seek to uncover what your audience is worried about. And so with research, you've got, the metaphor that, 80% of an iceberg is beneath the water. That's how it is with content. All the glory goes to the content that's published, but the truth is the writing part of it or the video production part of it's really easy. The work, honestly, is in the research and the preparation and the planning. If you put most of your effort into that, then actually producing the content gets very easy, and that it's infinitely more powerful. So I can see we've got some questions coming up. So let's just do a quick summary here, then we'll jump into some questions. So in a nutshell, understand your audience's inner dialogue. You want to literally be reading your audience's mind. And this applies for all forms of content, articles, video, email, social posts. This is a content format agnostic, quite literally. All right, let's go back. Let's answer some questions here. Chat, let's see, how can I find these questions? Oh boy, how do I go to chat? Chat. Sorry guys, I'm not able to. Let's do a stop share. All right, where are we? What is it you hear your audience asking out?
Sorry, sorry, Alexi, I just heard you say that. So I actually then typed it out because I really, really like that. And I wanted all proteges to really catch that one liner that you said. What is it that you hear your audience talking about? Because you said that really poignant. And that's something that I feel that a lot of the time we miss, but if we are constantly listening to our audience and finding out exactly what they want, we can totally then give them the desires of their heart. Thus, they'll take out their wallet, which is brilliant. Hey guys, what are your questions that you do have? Does anyone want to type in some questions that you might have? Hey, just out of curiosity, Alexi, from the point of view of really defining your own credibility in the marketplace, when it does come to writing content and, obviously then releasing that, how important is it, that you do have all the research? Like if you were to have a percentage of story or case study versus factual numbers, research, et cetera, which one would you say is more important?
I lean towards the case study because it's emotional, right brain. It's a right brain proof. I lean towards a case study. Now, having said that, there are some audiences, engineers, accountants, and so forth, that naturally lean towards data. But even then, you want to frame the data in the context of the story anyway. Yeah.
And when it does come to the story, how important is your own story versus stories that you've worked with clients? Do you feel that people are leaning into the individual story of, this is my experience, or is it more when we were working with this client?
Yeah, it's certainly for the people on this masterclass this evening. Your own personal story is going to be extremely powerful. You absolutely need at least one flagship content piece that conveys your story. At least one, okay?
Yeah.
But also your client stories are powerful as well. So I would have both, starting off with your own personal story, most important.
Yeah. All right, so can you see the chat bar there?
Yeah, okay. So
I'll get you to go through it.
What survey tools do you find the most helpful? You can do a poll on Facebook. You could use SurveyMonkey. You could do an email broadcast and say, what's the one question that you've got? If you could sit down with me for a coffee, what's the one question you would ask? Click reply. You could do that. The answers are more important than the tool. Alexi, a lot of us are selling service and knowledge, not product. Any tips to cut through on this? We'll get to that. The frameworks that we use in our content month on month for clients will absolutely apply to service-based consultant type businesses. So we'll circle back on that. I saw one question here. So it is BuzzSumo, Google, Amazon, and I think I missed one. So it's BuzzSumo, Google, Amazon, Udemy, and most important, what is it your audience is asking? Okay. That's the most important. I don't want you to get distracted by tools. Get closer to your audience. That's the key. What is it that you hear your audience asking about? Okay, here's the key to this. Surveys can be tricky. What you're looking for is not 2 to 3 word survey responses. You're looking for the 1-page response. You are looking for the people that pour their hearts into the responses. And you don't need many of those, but you need enough of those, only a handful sometimes. They're the ones where you can find the unexploited desire, the unaddressed problems. That's where the gold is. It is not doing a survey of 1,000 people and then finding out that 500 of them tick box number 1, i.e. the common desire, and then going, oh, they picked the common desire is this, we should do content on this. No, that's the mistake. You're looking for the ones where there's long, deep, emotional explanations. Dig into those. That's your opportunity. Yeah, that took me a long time to work that one out, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
SurveyMonkey seek to understand. I think we've covered off all the questions for now. I am flying through this. All right,
guys, do we have any other questions at all? Oh yeah, sorry, I do have one. When it does come to, I did mention earlier on about video versus written. What are you finding when it does come to content? How many words in a piece of content is working really well? And also exactly with video as well, what is a good length of video that's working really well? Or does it totally depend on the platform that you're using?
Yeah, it partly depends on the platform. Instagram, you clearly have a restriction there of less than 60 seconds. Yeah. YouTube, you can go 2 hours. So it's part of the answer is platform. Part of it is outcome as well. What are you seeking to achieve? If you're looking to get a purchase, like a sale off that one piece of content, you probably can't talk for 30 seconds. Okay, so part of it is the outcome. In terms of video versus articles, look, video is quite an opportunity in part because the platforms give it a lot of reach. So especially on LinkedIn, LinkedIn right now, native video is quite an opportunity for B2B. LinkedIn is supporting the platform. Okay, so there's one good reason for video. The other, obviously, engagement's high. So video has great engagement, but honestly, articles are where people start to think. Articles make people think. Articles, especially long form articles where they're well researched, people will take their time on that, and that's where the paradigms can really shift. And in terms of length, they do vary from industry to industry and keyword to keyword. BuzzSumo have a very good feature in there called the content analyzer. Like for example, a client of ours this morning wanted to query the length of one of the articles. And I said, let me show you something. We went into BuzzSumo, we typed in his keyword, and BuzzSumo analyzed something like 998,000 articles across the world on that subject. And it came back and said that the most viral articles are 2,000 to 3,000 words in length.
Wow.
For that keyword. Yeah. And then the second most viral was 3,000 to 10,000. And the third most viral...
That's like an ebook.
Yeah, yeah. And the third most viral was 10,000 plus. Now, let me tell you the keyword. It's sales. So what you've got there are experts producing content on their frameworks and their pipelines and their methodologies. And so it naturally lends itself to a deeper exploration. Yeah?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Hey, there's a couple of other questions here. I think have a look.
All right, Alexi, how sift through the noise and keep the content focused and precise? We'll get to that. I cover that in the talk tonight. Do you also pitch these articles to media to gain free publicity? The answer is no. Though having said that, I've spoken to publicists and no publicists, and the frameworks that we use to get attention and generate leads and so forth for clients are similar to the frameworks that publicists use. So we're talking case studies, we're talking tip sheets, we're talking how-to articles. The publicists, though, use them in a different way to get the outcome that they're seeking. Yeah. I think I've got all the questions answered thus far. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get back to the talk because, like I said, there's some questions I didn't answer because I know I'm going to hit it soon enough. All right. Can you see? Can we see my screen? We can't, can we? Hang on a
Not yet.
Man, no, I've never done a presentation like this over Zoom. Normally,
Well, thank you very much. Hey guys, can I get everyone just to do a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, if you're getting value, just very quickly, even if you just simply type in yes.
Just lie.
I'm going to put yes. Yes. We've already had 5 people to 8. Yep, everyone's saying yes. Well done, Alexi. Very good.
All right, let's share the screen again and continue on. All right, so present. All right, so tip number 1 was all about the audience. Number 2, this is where we start to introduce novelty and cut through the clutter. A few of you had this question. Now we get into the nitty gritty, okay? Specifics. I cannot tell you how important specifics are if you're looking to cut through the clutter. So one example, at the beginning of this year, we produced a property investing report for a client. And when he ran it, he got a whopping 92% opt-in rate from email lists. Now, those of you on the masterclass this evening that don't know, 92% is almost unheard of. How do we do it? We got somewhat specific with the promises. So what will happen in the Sydney property market in 2018? What's going to happen in Melbourne in 2018? Why the values in Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne could drastically fall. Didn't we nail that one, huh? And 10 of the best property investment rules to help you sleep at night. So you're seeing numbers through here. I'm looking at this now. We could have been even more specific, but we're clearly specific enough. Now back to our headline here. What do you see here? Here are 4 tips that can help maximize your borrowing power. We didn't say here are tips. Here are 4 tips. This is how you raise the curiosity, how you raise the novelty. What do you see here? Now you're going to see the common footprints kicking in. Rare undersea discovery could extend your life by 10, 20, or 30 years. Then in the open of the article, you're seeing specific numbers, 40, 60. This is how you get cut through, specifics. Oh, questions. Well, I got through that one really fast. I'm sure I've probably got a couple of questions on that one. So where is the chat box? Stop share. Any questions on, yeah, true. Nikki, opt-in rate of 20% is good. Depending on your media buying, you can get it even higher nowadays, especially with Facebook. But yeah, 20%, yeah, you can make that work. 92% is unbelievable. True. It is true though.
Hey, very quickly, Alexi, I heard somewhere that odd numbers sometimes work better than even numbers, like a 3 ways, like the 5 steps, like the 7 secret ingredients, like the 9 principles. What's your theory on this?
Look, I'll tell you this. I will use the odd number. I've seen lots of studies on this. I think it's I think it's got to do with this. When we round to the even. As habit as humans, we'll round to an even number, but we don't round to the odd number. And so therefore, when we see the odd number, it conveys precision. 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s, possibly. It just conveys precision. I've seen so many split tests on this, and time again, honestly, the 7s especially outpulls everything else. So ending in a 97 or a 47, 147, this is what I do to this day. It's so,
and that's why a lot of the price points are now $997 or $97 or $2,997. Yeah.
Any other questions around specifics? This one's an easy one to understand, truly. But I tell you, it's extremely powerful. If you get specifics into your headline, subheads, and your content. Is it just for the title? Well, most often it's just for the title. And the reason for that is the title is the most important element of the content because it stops people in their tracks. Now, in practice, if you're mentioning 4 ways in the headline, what do you need to do in the body of the article? Talk about the 4 ways, right? So same with a video, same with anything, right? So, yeah. Any other questions? I think we're cool.
I think we're good. Yep.
All right. Let's get back into it. Next, Be different and offer novelty. All right, this one is really powerful. There are two ways that we go about it. The case study framed as story. Sam mentioned it at the beginning of the masterclass tonight. My preferred format, we have seven frameworks for our content. My preferred is the case study. Now, whether that is a case study about our client's story or whether it's a case study about our clients, I'll take anything we can get. Sometimes it's very difficult to get that information extracted, but when we can get it, I will always opt for this because it's extremely powerful. People are interested in people. People are interested in people, okay? I don't give a stuff about corporations, with the exception of maybe Apple, but people care about people. So the more stories that you can tell, the better. At the top of the masterclass, Sam told us the story of his talk in Adelaide and how he got that gig, but he framed it as an engaging story. That would not have been accidental, okay? So here's an example when we don't have a story from our clients, and here's an example when we don't have our client's story. What we sometimes need to do is borrow other people's story. So this advertisement you see here is a Facebook ad for one of our clients, and our client actually owns 2 business clubs here in Sydney and in Melbourne. Now, he has absolutely nothing to do with Elon Musk, okay? Yet, Elon Musk is a celebrity, he's famous, he's in the news all the time. So what we did is borrow his credibility and told a story about how he sells. Now, there's something else to this where that skyrocketed the novelty of this particular ad. I'm going to go into the chat box and we'll see if someone can guess it. So it says Elon Musk's secrets to sales success. See if anybody can tell me the hidden reason why the novelty on this was sky high, in addition to it being about Elon Musk. Let's see. Borrow credibility. People just, oh, that's what I said before. So any ideas as to why the novelty on this one is so sky high? Oh, shit, Sasha. I swore, sorry, Sam. He's not a sales. Who's Sasha? Where is she? That's the first time that's happened. Who is it? I'm looking to see who. Well
Congratulations, done. Sasha. Congratulations.
My God, I expect you to actually reveal the answer. Sasha, there you are. Well done. You nailed it in one. He's not a salesman as such. And so therefore, because everyone talks about his genius brain and Tesla and SpaceX and the PhD candidate and all this sort of stuff, nobody's talking about his sales skills. But few people know he got $300 million out of the Department of Energy as a grant. $300 million. Massive feat. I heard that and thought, oh, this guy can sell, but nobody reveals his sales secrets. So that's what we went and did. And because no one else is talking about Elon Musk in that way, the novelty was off the charts.
Yeah, brilliant.
There's part of your answer there around how to cut through clutter and be novel, is talk about stuff that nobody else is talking about, that your audience wants to know. So this here, Elon Musk's secrets to sales success, you would never find that in market research. You're not going to find that in BuzzSumo. You're not going to find that in SEMrush or any other tool. That's one of those dormant, hidden desires that if you can find the right one, can be an absolute home run winner. And that Elon Musk ad I showed you before, in fact, was a home run winner. Okay. I'll continue a little bit more because I think I've got one more thing to share on that. And then I'll take some questions. Okay, here's another one. What you're seeing here is the White House circa 1984. One of our clients, an interior designer, he came to us and said, Alexi, please write articles about interior design. I said, all right, we could do that, but let's dig here. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your history. And it took 20 minutes of digging. And he said, oh, and by the way, this rug you see in this photo, we designed that. We manufactured that for the White House. I said, what? He goes, yeah, we did the rug for the White House in 1984. I said, really? He goes, yeah, let me tell you the story. And so lo and behold, we have a story about the White House for an interior designer. Now, think about the novelty factor on that. How many interior designers in the world get to talk about designing for the interior, for the White House? Now, to even add more emotionality to the story, there was some newspaper coverage on this way back in the 80s. This was at a time when Nancy Reagan was the outgoing first lady, Barbara Bush was the incoming first lady, and they both hated each other. There was a whole saga to do with this rug, apparently. Of course, we told that story in the article we wrote for the client. Now, here's the thing. You've all got amazing stories. Maybe not the White House's clients, fair enough. But you've all got amazing stories. It's a matter of digging. And so with this particular client, I kept digging. And lo and behold, who are his clients? I kid you not, Vladimir Putin, Bill Gates, and Oprah Winfrey. So again, great ammunition for novelty. Great ammunition to cut through the clutter. We all don't have this stuff. These guys are world famous, but we work with what we've got. And when you don't have any of that, you can borrow the credibility. Like for Sam's content, I think 2 months ago, I think we dissected Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. So we even did this for Sam, and Sam's got boatloads of credibility. So what you see here is another example of borrowing credibility. Can we see that headline? Because I've got a bar covering it. So
Yeah, we can see it. Yep.
Okay, cool. So
five important lessons. Yeah.
From Jeff Bezos' 2017 letter to Amazon shareholders. We wrote this for a client that's a management trainer. They train companies on team building and management and so forth. They have nothing to do with Amazon or Jeff Bezos. But there's content in this that is rich for their audience. This was hugely successful. In fact, for about 4 months, our client was the number one on Google in Australia for Jeff Bezos letter or something like that. It was a really juicy keyword search term. So good stuff. All right. So all right. So I'll take some questions at this time. Let me stop share. Let's have a look here. Is it more effective that your own story or client? Okay, cool. So I think I answered that one before. It's not a binary decision. You need to do it all. You need your own story, especially this group tonight. You need your own story, absolutely. If you are teaching people or if you are consulting or providing some sort of service, you absolutely need your clients' case studies because that is the evidence that you excel at what you do. So you absolutely need those as well. And they're going to monetize probably. Now, I don't have any proof on this, but just experience is speaking here. Your client case study stories will almost certainly monetize better than doing a borrowed credibility story like about Elon Musk. Okay. But borrowing the credibility too, I tell you now for social, that stuff can really go viral when you pick on the right celebrity for your audience. Yeah, big time. Okay. Any other questions on this? I don't think there seems to be.
And just very quickly, you could quite easily find the data on these top tier celebrities online that you're just simply ripping from that you can then put in your own words. Yes?
You can. Some industries are tougher than others.
Yeah.
It's like for the business space, it's ridiculously easy. Some other, like property investing, that would be tough. Like to borrow the credibility. There's not really many hardcore celebrities in property where you can borrow the credibility. So it's a bit tougher. Part of the answer is yes, though. It depends on the industry, though. Yeah.
Like for example, how you found the data on the Martin Luther King speech. You clearly, you went to 5 or 6 different resources, grabbed that information, and then put it all in your own words in that one piece. Yeah.
Well, so can we talk about what we do for you for a little bit?
Yeah, would you mind? Yeah, that'd be great. Look, guys, I'm really transparent here, so I love the idea of you guys learning on what we're currently doing. Yeah.
All right. So here's what we do for Sam. I've got to organise with this just in case we hit on this.
Cool,
So
cool.
this is, Sam, you got to approve these, by the way. You see client approve there?
No, I can't see it yet. I can't see it yet. Show it.
Oh, am I not showing my screen? Let me share my
Oh,
screen.
yeah. No,
All right,
no.
let me do it now. All right. You should
Very good. Very good. Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So this is the first time I think Sam's even seen these. So you'll see one of Sam's themes is inside analysis of famous speeches in history. And so we researched and tried to find some famous speeches that when we name drop when we name drop them in the headline, people want to stop and go, oh yeah, I remember that day when the Challenger blew up. I remember that speech during World War II about the fighting on the beaches. Or I remember there's another good, Mandela's I'm prepared to die speech. Emotional stuff. So we're using the inbuilt anchors of some of these pivotal times in history to stop people in their tracks. But then what we do for Sam is we've researched your book, Story Showing, pretty intensively. So what we do is we look for overlaps between Sam's methodology, perspectives, frameworks, and so forth, and how these famous speakers in history moved the masses, how they communicated their message and literally changed the course of history. And not surprising, what Sam covers in Story Showing and how these amazing people communicate, there are common elements. So that's how we actually do it for you, Sam.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
All right.
Hey, are there any other questions, guys? This is great content. Thanks, Alexi. It's absolutely fantastic.
Don't think there's any more. Not at the moment. All right. I'll keep on. We're almost done here. I've got a few more things I'd like to show you.
Yeah.
So we just spoke about the case study framed as story as my preferred way to create novelty. Okay. But Sam, you asked me before, is it better to do case study or data? And lo and behold, here we are. So the other way to create lots of novelty is data and statistics. Very useful. The downside, obviously, especially if you're not talking to a left brain type of audience, engineers, accountants, actuaries, and so forth, is it can become dry. So you need to be careful. So use this sparingly. Treat it like salt on food. But let me show you. Okay, so back to this article yet again. Okay, so this is the headline. So we've spoken about this. But because I know data and statistics can create novelty, I had the design team create a mock-up table that we just invented this scenario.
Right.
And we put it into the article. Not a complicated table, but some specific numbers there, and it illustrates the impact and it raised the novelty that extra little bit. Okay. So in a nutshell, nail the inner dialogue. That's step number one, the most important. Out of everything I've shown you, 70 to 80% probably is this. Get this right and you can be mediocre on the other stuff. But case study framed as story is my preferred. For this audience this evening, I would absolutely prioritize the case study. Your own story, then your client's story, and then where needed, borrow the credibility of celebrities in your space. And then we have, data and statistics. And that's very, very obvious. You know, if you can insert data about trends, you can make some projections. You can even make up your own statistics. You can do something as simple as, if you have an email list, just run a quick dirty survey via email and just ask a question. And whatever the responses are, you can now have the basis of a one-of-a-kind study. And that information can make for a great article or a great video, but it can also be a great press release. Yeah? All right. So let's have a look here. Do you send content out through a platform like Hootsuite? Hootsuite's pretty good. Buffer, I think, is better. The answer is yes, by the way. Buffer, I think, is better. Sprout Social is pretty good. We use Sendable only because we're stuck to it now. We're too much on there, and getting off it would be more painful than staying on. If I was to dial back the hands of time, I would have probably Definitely Buffer or Sprout Social. Yeah. Stock photos. What's the question with stock photos there? I don't know what the question actually means. Sorry. Could you just clarify that, please?
Hey, Charlene, I can unmute you if you like.
Charlene. Where is Charlene?
Hi.
Hey.
So the question, hey, how are you? So the question with stock photos is, do you know some good sites where I can grab some stock photos? Because I don't want to be in trouble for using the wrong photos.
Yeah. Pixabay is pretty good.
Pixabay?
I think Big Stock Photos is another one the team uses. Big Stock Photos and Pixabay. I think those are the two main ones that we use. I think, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cool. Oh, Unsplash. That's another one.
Which one?
Unsplash.com. That's another one. I think out of all of them, probably Pixabay is the best in my estimation. But yeah, I'm not a designer, so.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Any other questions? Because I'm actually at the end of my talk, to be honest with you.
Hey, look, Alexi, I'm not going to turn on my video, but look, I just really wanted to acknowledge you again. We absolutely have loved working with you over the last 5 years on and off, and the content that you guys are producing for us at the moment is absolutely outstanding. Hey guys, I can't recommend you guys enough. If you ever are looking for someone to help you out with your content, Alexi and their team are just outstanding. Alexi, if people wanted to get in contact with you, reach out to you or your team, or even, explore options of you guys doing, work with them, what's the best way of how they can do this? Do you have a link or maybe we can put you in contact? What's the best way?
Yeah, the easiest way is, I'll type this into the chat. So if you go to this URL, you'll go straight into my schedule. That goes directly into my, what are we using? Schedule once link. So, and then we can have a chat. So there's a 15-minute time slot, a 30-minute time slot, or a 1 hour. We won't need the 1 hour. 15 or 30 minutes is going to be enough in the beginning. And where we're great with is clients that have some momentum. If you're at a stage where you're still trying to work out your message and you don't have a website and you don't have a funnel and all that sort of stuff, it's too soon for us to talk. There's not a lot we can do with that. But if you've dialed some of that stuff in and you're looking to amp it up to the next level, like you're looking to start to shape thought leadership over your social platforms, and you're looking to send more emails to your list and start to move things along, that's where we can start to do some things for you. And truly, we're not that expensive. Like, we've tried to price things in a way where we can deliver quite a bit for very little. And our base package is $797 USD per month. And I think we've got all Aussies on this call. And the reason why it's a USD is because our cost base is USD and we have a big US market as well. But that's our lowest price point, which is it's not too bad. It's pretty.
Yeah, look, and again, I can't recommend Alexi and his team more highly. We, as an organisation, have loved the content that they are producing for us. It is really, really outstanding. So again, Alexi, I wanted to massively acknowledge you and you and your team for what you guys are doing for us. I just think it's awesome. Hey guys, very quickly, can I get everyone? And I know we are a little bit over time, but what was your biggest takeaway? Just to thank Alexi, your biggest takeaway from today, or even if you just simply want to put a massive thanks to Alexi for his time here today. But what was either your biggest takeaway or, maybe even just simply an acknowledgement?
Solid data, case studies, and how-to research.
Yeah.
Find the white hot center. Nikki Bowman. Yes, I agree. Yeah. What is your audience asking about? Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in the tools. You just speak to your audience, and that's just gold. Like hearing the workings of your brain. My wife doesn't like to hear the workings of my brain.
We got to catch up with you guys as well very soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, good audience. You guys have listened well. Very good. Very good.
Hey, yeah. Again, any other final comments there, Alexia, or we'll call it over and out.
No, I think I'm good on this end. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks again, team. Thanks for leaning in. And also, hey, just very quickly, Proteges, can you please do me a favor? Go on to Protege Central and say the masterclass was great or whatever it is, because there are still some people that aren't leaning into these masterclasses and they're fully missing out. So for your fellow proteges, go on to Protege on the Protege Facebook group and just let us know on there as well the epic value that you got. And also, again, for everyone else, my encouragement is reach out to Alexi and his team. He's basically, I've just dumped in my book and they've ripped out so much really valuable content from the book and have made some kick-ass, and excuse the pun, amazing content that is now going viral. And yeah, it was just really, really brilliant. So again, looking forward to connecting with you all again really soon. And it is over and out from us here in Sydney. Talk to you guys soon. See you guys.